All right, guys, we just heard the sheriff in the press conference for the Kiely Rodni case, and now they're taking questions. So this part two of this is going to be the question part of it, and I'll probably pause if I hear something that pisses me off because these cops didn't do a very good job, in my opinion. Uh, Adventures with Purpose found the car in like what less than 2 hours. These cops couldn't find it for days.
What agency called in eventually purpose, and when did you decide that we needed to get some help? Captain Sam Brown from my agency would be happy to answer this question.
Yeah, thanks. The question was, is which agency requested? I'm not exactly sure that an agency had reached out and requested from within our unified.
Her family reached out to Adventures with Purpose to come out and look for their daughter in the water. That's what I heard.
Command. But as everybody's reading online and seeing all the information that was coming out, and we realized that there was an interest from Adventures with Purpose, we did link up that group with Sergeant Mike Powers with the Placer County Sheriff's Office. They had lots of communication as they were going to be traveling to this area, and then a lot of detailed information that was shared that wasn't necessarily out to the public yet that hopefully was of assistance to helping them locate the area to go to.
You said the car was found in the area where it was searching since the beginning. What did the AWB have that maybe you guys didn't have, or why was that missed?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. That's one that everybody's going to have, right? Is how did we not find it when we were searching? The lake was extensively searched with side sonar, with an ROV. We had divers, we had swimmers. I think that's part of what we're going to have to go back to do and debrief. You know, when peace officers are out in the field and volunteers and searchers, it doesn't mean that they're experts in the field, right? These are sometimes.
Let's make excuses why you don't know how to do your job. If you don't know how to do your job, you should be fired. The FBI was there, and they couldn't even find this car. All of you need to be fired if you're going to make damn excuses for it. You had all this equipment, because you just said it, and Adventures with Purpose found this car in less than 2 hours. Stop making fucking excuses or fire these cops. That's just how I look at it.
Ancillary duties, and we're calling from other agencies to try to jump in. And tracking underwater is an extremely difficult thing to do. So I think part of our debrief on any of these situations is how do we figure out to improve our services, work on our resources and the way that we use them. A lot of this equipment is high end, very expensive, and you really need to have a lot of practice and expertise. And I think that's where a group like Adventures with Purpose is able to focus and practice those skills and really hone them. And so we're appreciative that they were able to come out and locate it. I also don't want to take away, though, from anything from our volunteers as well as law enforcement that have been out there. I mean, we literally had people swimming in the water looking down so that we didn't disturb the ground initially. My understanding is the vehicle was upside down. That also makes it more difficult, and it's still.
Stop making excuses. Stop.
Built and things come up above that can also make things difficult. So before I really can say, hey, why we weren't able to do it, I also could say that we eliminated a lot of areas that we would still be searching if we didn't have all the great people out there, and that helped give them some guidance as well, I think. But clearly their expertise in diving and their equipment that they brought to the table assisted us, and we appreciate that.
No, they didn't assist you. They did your job for you.
Technology that all 360 months have.
I'll have to debrief with them before I'd have the answer to that question. I believe we're going to try to do that today.
Reference red tape a couple times, saying they don't have the red tape that maybe your assisting agencies have. What is that red tape, and why might it be easier for a private organization to do this?
I don't know exactly what we're talking about in regards to red tape. I think that from the very beginning, we never deterred anybody other than certain scenes that we closed off at times that became areas of interest and we wanted to protect for evidence. So I don't know that there was any red tape ever put on this. I mean, if you look at the amount of man hours that went into it, it was like over 15,000. And I know it's even higher than that now. I don't think there was ever red tape. There were
15,000 man hours. And Adventures with Purpose found the car in 2 hours. What a waste of taxpayers' money.
Maps created for civilians to be out. The boat ramp and the lake were never actually shut down, because the way we were looking at it is, more eyes out there, the better off we're going to be for finding Kiely, and that was continually the goal. So I'm not sure that there was ever red tape. I think it comes down to lots of factors, and like I said, we're going to debrief and try to figure out how do we become better and do a better job at these types of operations.
Why did agencies believe it was an abduction at first?
Yeah, I think there was a lot of miscommunication. I don't know that it was ever labeled as an abduction. I think that you can never take that.
Bullshit! It 100% was labeled as she got abducted. That's what they thought happened. She got abducted. From the police department. That's talking right now. That was the first thing. She got abducted. These oh my gosh. Retrain these cops. Retrain these cops.
Off the table. And so as we talked as a command group and unified command with all my partners that you see behind us, you couldn't remove that off the table because we hadn't found her. And so, there was some of the struggles with some of the services that we wanted to obtain and things we wanted to do, but we couldn't say it wasn't an abduction, but we also never said that it was an abduction. I think that was clarified fairly early on. But we also probably wouldn't have received all the services and all the people if that wasn't an option. If this was truly a search and rescue mission, we may not have had all the resources to conduct interviews. I think they identified over 400 juveniles, and to be able to interview all of those folks and provide feedback off of all that, it takes an army of people, and I think we were lucky to be able to put that together between my partners and agencies that are right behind me.
Did any of the juveniles, anybody mention a car going over the side, a car in the water, on all of them?
I don't believe that statement was made, not to my knowledge.
And that doesn't make any fucking sense. All these people were out there. Not one single person seen that car go into the water. Right by where they were. Or heard the as the car sunk into the water. The only thing that could keep you from hearing that is if there was loud ass music, which is a possibility, a big possibility, but it just doesn't make any sense that nobody's seen anything. Nothing.
Was there any indication that this accident was
That's still being investigated. If we'd like, we could turn it over for CHP can give some information. They are conducting the accident investigation utilizing their MATE team.
Good morning, Josh Ellers, Assistant Chief of CHP Valley Division based in Sacramento, which Truckey's a part of. I can confirm that our department is conducting a fatality traffic collision investigation. We're harnessing all of our resources, working with all of our partners here. As you see, we're utilizing our MATE team, our multidisciplinary accident investigation team, to harness more data from the data that we've recovered. Also, we've utilized all of our air resources to map and video and take photographs of the area in question. And that's currently ongoing, so I can't comment on the nature and details of that investigation, but I certainly appreciate all the partnership that we have here with our local county and state partners, and we'll continue to assist in any overarching way that we can as an agency.
Do you know how close the vehicle was to the actual party site?
I don't have the exact location in terms of distance, but it was relatively close to the area in question.
Somebody said the car was 60 something feet out in the water and then 14 foot deep.
I couldn't say. I haven't seen the exact data and the mapping. That's still ongoing.
Did many partygoers leave by the same route?
This is, I can't comment on all that, but what I can tell you is, and I think it's been discussed, is this is a very popular area. There's a lot of foot traffic, a lot of vehicular traffic on and off road. So certainly crisscrossed and a lot of extensive movement in that area continually throughout this time of year. So.
Is there any suspicion that it could have been a party to hit this car, or was it a 100% car?
I don't have that information that I could comment on at this time. What I can tell you is we'll do a thorough investigation.
I was pretty sure that when they did this live press conference, it was going to pretty much be asking questions and getting no answers.
every bit and piece of information that we have, including what's already been provided to us, and we'll reach some conclusions that will be provided to the parties of interest.
We're really back to the purpose went out there this weekend. When was the last time that you had swimmers or divers any of these agencies out there fishing that area?
I'd defer back to the Nevada County Sheriff.
Yeah, I would say that we actually had divers, not necessarily in Prosser, but in lots of bodies of water up until even the days that they were there. There were many ponds they were following up on Coldstream, as well as other bodies of water. So I don't know that dive teams ever discontinued. It was more of trying to still follow up on all of those things. And I believe Adventures with Purpose also had been diving at other lakes as well within the area.
Is there any time from the time that Adventures with Purpose started? How long does it take from?
You're talking on Prosser Lake specifically?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was relatively quickly, but I don't have an exact time. Like, again, we're gonna have to debrief with them, figure out, between putting equipment down, getting in the water, and identifying where the car was at.
Can we talk about what happened last night and then like taking the car out, putting it on, what happened last night?
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the law enforcement partners you see behind me were present during that time, trying to do the best they could for ensuring that everything was done correctly, and also trying to add some levels of privacy to the best of the ability in worrying about the family and ensuring that they were covered as well. But I mean, beyond that, I don't know what your specific question is asking. But
How do you get a car out that's on shore? How does that happen? And where does the car go? What happens? What
Yeah.
happens from last night when you arrived to today?
Yeah, so once the car was located, dive teams were assembled. I believe Placer County was probably still the primary dive team. They have to use lots of devices to lift the car, turn it over, and then the use of tow trucks was what made it possible for pulling the vehicle out of the water. And the vehicle is taken down. The FBI has offered up assistance and are going to be helping to conduct investigation regarding the vehicle itself, and making sure that we don't miss something that may be in there that we're not aware of.
You guys hopped in the car was in the water since the night of the party?
I have no reason to believe that it wasn't, but until we have
Ooh,
those
I
answers,
do.
don't know the answer.
Ooh, I do. I don't think that car went in. Just maybe it was. Maybe the car went in that night. It's a possibility, but something tells me the car didn't go into the water till maybe the next day or a few days later. Yeah, I guess it couldn't have went a few days later because they probably had cars controlling that area after they figured out that she went missing from there. So it either had to happen that night or the next day for sure. So I don't know. It's just all weird. It's all freaking weird.
Into it.
Can you just clarify as far as what teams have been in that area before Adventures with Purpose, if any, on that specific, on Prosser?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost so many that it would be hard to link out between the different teams. There were numerous boats. Yuba County.
So basically, he said they didn't find it because they're dumb. That's just how I take that. Adventures with Purpose found that car in 2 hours. The FBI and the cops couldn't find it in a couple days. Some guy took his drone over the water and found the car 4 days ago.
Alameda, Nevada County, Placer County. Swimmers came from Washoe County. We had divers from every single one of those agencies and then some. I mean, it was a vast amount of people. And I would just say, unless you've conducted these types of searches and tried to do it, it does take a level of expertise, and nothing's perfect. When you fly a helicopter over the air trying to identify if something is there, most places give that less than a 5% probability of detection, meaning if you flew over, you only have a 5% chance of seeing something. You had trees and brush and bushes and dirt and all these other things, and it becomes a pretty difficult task. Even though once you find the answer, on hindsight, everything looks 20/20. The reality is it's not that simple. It is pretty complex and it's tough. So again, we're just appreciative that the resources came out and were able to help us in locating it.
Were there signs that the person in contact was
I think that's too preliminary for us to be able to determine that at this time.
Was there more than one body in the vehicle?
No, there was not more than one body in the vehicle.
Describe the difficulty with water depth over 2 weeks.
It depends. That's a complicated question. I'm not an expert in water. However, temperature of the water and things like that come into play. But it can add difficulty based on many factors that can cause damage to obviously things that we want to look at to investigate, but also to bodies that may have been submerged for a period of time.
So like it could have been tire tracks or some type of signal that a car did go into the water there. Did rain impact that? Did this heavy activity in the area seeing those signs?
I think everything's a factor, but again, that's where we rely on the meat.
There's another drone, and I don't know who did it. I wish I would have kept the video. It was a while back. That went over that area and seen tire tracks. You can literally see it in the video. See tire tracks going down to the water. Now, when this drone went over it, he wasn't paying attention to that. He wasn't looking for that. He was trying to find the car in the water. But later on, he noticed that there was tire tracks going down to the water. And he pointed that out in his video, and I don't remember who he was. I'll have to try to see if I can figure it out. So, bullshit. Another bullshit thing from these cops.
Came from CHP to come in with their expertise and be able to provide some of those answers. Yeah, I'll have to debrief with them to figure out what equipment exactly they use to see if it's items that we have or if it's a matter of training with the items that we have. So until we talk to them and know exactly what they used and how they went about it, I wouldn't be able to answer that correctly.
They also said the car was 14 feet deep. Did y'all go that far to look for the car?
Yeah, some of that information is sometimes deceiving. So yeah, the car was reported at 14 or 15 feet. However, the water level since the 6th has also dropped a vertical 3.5 to 4 feet, which could be 20 to 25 feet off of shore. So a lot of things have changed in those aspects. Until we really can look into all that information and sort through it.
I mean, I get that the water changes, the water moves, it fluctuates. Still, you should have been able to find it. Some guy found it with a drone 4 days ago. No sonar, no nothing. Some guy flew his drone over the water and found this 4 days ago, reported it on his YouTube channel, tried to get people's attention so that they could figure out that he found the car. And he had nothing like what you guys have. A drone that takes video. I think they did a horrible job in this case. I just do.
Difficult to say whether those factors had a play in it or not. I think it's still more important for us to debrief, look at training, look at equipment, look at tools, and look at outside entities that are experts, where this is maybe their full-time gig that they do, and try to see how we have that involvement from the community to come out and help support.
At this time, can you tell if there are any signs of foul play?
At this time, we're not going to be able to say anything like that.
It's considered that people can drink parties that night. Is anything about the cars that we do
Yeah, the investigation's ongoing, so we're not going to be able to comment on that. I wouldn't be able to comment on that either unless somebody gave some statements to that. I hadn't heard any information like that, though.
Do you have any theories as to how the car got in the water, and also what gear was the car found in?
I think if I make up theories, then I'm just guessing, and I'm going to lead us back into a trail that's not certain. So we'll wait until we have those facts and details. And as far as the car, we're not going to release any information until we've done a solid investigation on it. I don't know that we received a first call. I think we reached out to them after we read it online. And so I'm not sure, I mean, again, with 150 law enforcement officials, it's possible that a call came in and something happened. But from the Unified Command and talking with my partners, none of us were aware of an initial. So we tasked the investigative sergeant with contacting them and reaching out. So I believe, best I know, we did that proactively on our end.
And they contacted the family?
I think there's still some sketchy details on exactly how that contact went out. So I don't want to speak on behalf of the family.
What was
was it when you heard that they might have been caught? What was your
Well, I think what we all are thinking, which is hopefully this is true, and we got a lot of work ahead of us to make sure that we still do right by the family. Our biggest concern is making sure that the family has been aware of everything from day one, and that we're not shielding them, but we're also not bombarding them with things. There's a lot of ups and downs throughout this investigation, a lot of emotional turns throughout the whole thing, and our goal is to make sure we're
The family. I'm sorry that their daughter died, and it's sad. But the mother not going out looking for her daughter pisses me off still.
supportive of the family throughout this whole task and doing our best in that.
how long will investigation you think the county? How long does an investigation do look at the car to figure out what?
I mean, I think there's a lot of factors in that. I don't mind turning it over to CHP and let them.
Because obviously we have a multifaceted investigation with multiple agencies, it can take time. The FBI is working, evaluating the vehicle. We have to come in and do that. We want to allow them to work. We'll come in and examine data, examine the vehicle, have all of our investigators look at that car. So depending on circumstances, it can be several days, it could be several weeks. We also want to wait on other information related from the coroner's office and other things that all get compiled into a comprehensive investigation. So the easy answer is it could take a while.
All right, we've had an opportunity to hear from most reporters. Most have asked 2 questions. Is there anybody that had a follow-up question to answer?
So there you go. That's the end of it, guys. Nobody does another question. But yeah, I call bullshit with these cops. They're not good. I'm glad they got out there and they tried to find her. They just need some better training. But yeah, there's so much still missing from this story.